What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Cyber Series Ultra Maxmas, or their version of an IDW Optimus Prime and IDW Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. So these were sent to me by Dr. Diecast. Thanks for sending these. Obviously he is a huge Shattered Glass fan, so I think he picked it up for this, and then he got this one probably for alt mode or something. And it's not quite clear if this is G Creation or not. So these were originally created by G Creation, and the packaging doesn't really say G Creation anywhere on the instructions, on the package itself. It does say produced by XZHS-Studio, like I showed in the unboxing. So it's not clear. I do think these are KOs. It has a KO feeling, KO box, KO plastic, all of it kind of feels. And then one thing that's really smells of KO is these two little parts, which are in a baggie. And I was like, what are these? Well, they're little inserts for the hands. And I just found that so strange. Like, why not just insert these into the place they go instead of making us do it? It's such a simple assembly step, but yet it wasn't done. So you just take these, they're kind of a pain to be honest, but and just insert them there, and that covers up the gap in the hand. So I have no idea why they would make the buyer do this. All right, so we got those parts installed, but now I'm like 99% sure these are KOs. And not that I have an issue with looking at KOs, but it is a little confusing. The marketing they've been using, they kind of made it seem like it's a G Creation reissue, but it really isn't. And then little things like this, the cheapness of it, kind of are a bummer. But lots of KO companies got their start, or third-party companies got their start as making KOs. For example, Black Mamba, they make a lot of KOs, but they created Transform Element, and they have some really nice original figures in addition to their collection of KOs. So the lines are blurred between KO and third party, and that's always been that way. But let's take a look at the details. It does have some paint on it. So the red plastic, the white plastic, and the blue is unpainted, but lots of accents. You got silver, white tampos, silver here, a little bit of copper or gold, gray, silver there, a little bit of white here, white accents. They did put a lot of detail on here. I heard there's some differences, some changes in the design. I never reviewed the original, so I'll have no idea. Unfortunately, I just won't know when we get there. And there are some accessories which I think are different, but we'll take a look at those later. Since I never reviewed the original, I just won't know the difference. Here's the Shattered Glass version. You got translucent orange instead of the blue. Orange for the eyes and these lights, a little bit of teal and green for the head. Green paint here, orange paint accents, white, green, black, and orange. That's really nice looking. And it definitely has a great paint deco. Let's go over the articulation on these guys, and it looks like I had these bent out. So head is on a rotating swivel, so it gets up to there, down to there, and rotates around. Ears can rotate. I wish they kind of locked in place because sometimes they rotate when you don't want them to. But they're pretty long and thin, so just be careful with those. Shoulders rotate around on a friction joint, a little loose for my taste. Shoulders can go out to the side. If you get this thing out of the way, it's tough, but you can get it a little bit higher on the shoulder because you move that. And then this arm can also move independently, so you can get that up out of the way. A lot of things get in its own way on this figure, so you'll notice that. Rotation at the bicep on a terrible feeling joint. Double jointed elbow, full bend. You have rotation at the wrist. Single pin for the fingers, but they barely open. You can get it open that much. So, not the greatest hands there. Yeah, rotation at the waist, it gets caught up. If you have the legs up, the hip skirt gets in the way, so make sure you have the legs down. And then you can rotate this, but it gets caught up on all sorts of things. These front hip skirts and these back hip skirts kind of get in the way, so you just got to make sure they're out of the way. You do have a rotation. I don't think you have an ab crunch. Yeah, as soon as things start moving on you. I don't believe this has an ab crunch. For the legs will kick up to here, but you have to move this out of the way like that. And then you can get this kicked about to there before it starts colliding. Very, very silly design. I'm guessing that's the original design, so it's not... It's just been recreated that way. On the back... Ugh, I don't even want to mess with this. Up to there before it hits, out to the side on friction, out to there before it collides. Rotation at the thigh. You have a double jointed knee. It gets you up to there. Oh, actually maybe a little more. You just got to get things out of the way, but you can get it up to there. And then you have a separate knee pad, which is kind of cool. Oh, but everything gets in the way. It's just a very irritating to mess with. Ankle tilts side to side, forward and backward. You have a hip ankle cover over here. And like I showed you earlier, the heel spur does bend and the toe does bend. So you can get some walking poses. Now they do get the same accessories between the two of them. So I'll go over them, but just assume they're the same except for color. So you get these two blasters done in gray plastic with a silver accent. And they do it kind of like Fans Hobby. There's a little rail, and the rail will slide into the hand. And they don't have the best fit, but it does work. It just... Be careful with it. So plastic feels a little thin. And sometimes it's hard to get in there, but it does hold it pretty securely once you get it in there all the way. Just be careful with those handles. This guy does get the same two guns, are identical, no change on those. We also get some weapons, as you get a sword and a battle axe. This has a little silver paint, translucent red. And these have the same thing, little rail system. So you can open up the hand and get these in here. And they do look good. And I'm not sure which of these weapons actually came with the original or not. I have a feeling that these didn't. But there you go for that. And then the equivalent ones for the red one are orange translucent plastic. So you have that. They both come with a matrix done in this orange, and this whole section up here feels horrible. All the plastic feels cheap, but you can open it up. You can take this, close this up, close that up. And yeah, this is one of the issues. This glass likes to come apart very easily. But so you have that matrix, and then this one has a blue matrix. And same thing, you can get that in here by opening that up. And I put it the other way, so you can put it in either direction. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. And they do come in a little bit taller, maybe like a 1/4 inch to the top of the shoulders, and then the head, the ears a little bit longer. But they are masterpiece scaled, so they will fit in if you have an IDW collection. I don't have anything IDW here, so these would be standalone pieces for me. But if you have IDW pieces, these guys would fit in nicely in a masterpiece setting. All right, there is Ultra Maxmas in vehicle mode. And if you're wondering why the purple one isn't here, that's because I didn't transform it. The transformation is an absolute nightmare. It really just has pieces coming off, namely this top part here, which rotates. That part came off. The glass here, these pieces are just, they're on pegs and they just pop off. I don't know how many transformations this would survive, so I don't want to do it again. So I'm going to leave it like this. It does look nice especially from the front, all that nice detail. And it has rubber tires. It does kind of roll. The wheels get stuck. They tend to, you know, pop out of here. And it sort of rolls, but not the best, to be honest. Here's the back. You do have this piece here, which tabs in and kind of solidifies the back. And actually allows you to attach MP10's trailer, which is nice. I just wish this would, you know, sit evenly on the ground. But since we're here, might as well bring in MP10's trailer. And you can just plug it in like you do on MP10. And obviously we now have MP44, but it's nice that they allow you to use this. It does turn and pull the trailer very nicely. And there's also another feature here. So we got this adapter, which I was like, I don't know what this is for. Well, this is to store the guns inside the trailer. So you take the guns, you can plug them in right here and here. And then we can open up the trailer. And I don't think it'll store the sword or the axe, so just keep that in mind. But this piece right here will fit right here inside the trailer. It just fits over the end there and then stores right there. And you can close it up and store them away. So you have a little bit of cargo here in vehicle mode. And I will say this does look nice. If you're planning to display the vehicle like this, you might be happy with it, but transformation, not fun. Now for some size comparisons, there it is next to MP10 and the Magic Square Optimus Prime. And it fits in nicely. It's a little bit taller, slightly bigger. Lengthwise, about the same, maybe a little bit longer than an MP Optimus Prime, but it's in the range, so I think it'll work for the Masterpiece collection. So final recommendations on the Cyber Series Ultra Maxmas. And this is a little bit of a disappointment, at least in my mind, because I thought maybe G Creation was back, but it does look like a KO and feel like a KO. Things are pretty cheap. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 partial recommendation. While it does look great in robot mode, there are lots of problems with this design. Things get in their way. I mean, you can't articulate the arms, you can't articulate the legs, the hip skirts get in the way, panels and pieces fall off. The transformation is pretty awful. It does look good in vehicle mode, and it does look good in robot mode, but, you know, really just not fun at all. I do like that they gave you a bunch of accessories, and you had those accessories for the vehicle mode, but overall, really just not great. Now, they are relatively cheap, so if you're looking for an IDW Optimus and you just want something to look good on the shelf, I think it'll probably do the trick, which is probably why Dr. Diecast got this guy. So I understand it, but yeah, not for me, and definitely too cheap feeling, you know, definitely a KO style here. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Dr. Diecast for sending this for a review, and we'll see you next time.